Hey, what's up? Today we are baking a classic cranberry and walnut sourdough. Of course, adding this to any dough is a win, but the real trick is getting that even distribution and a nice oven spring. So you don't end up with a flat loaf, right? Let's get into it, shall we? The night before at 27 degrees Celsius, I fed my starter with 1:7:7 ratio. It means 10 grams starter to 70 grams flour and 70 grams water. And the next beautiful morning, that's my friend, is a healthy and super active starter ready to bake. I have some starter recipes on my channel, you can check them out later. I will put the link in the description. Look at this gorgeous starter. Now that was so satisfying to hear, but let's make the dough, shall we? This is the recipe for 2 loaves. In a medium-sized bowl, add 14 grams salt, followed by 500 gram water. Bring your kitchen scale and time to measure up 140 grams of that active starter. I usually add more flour to my starter because a stiffer starter tends to ferment slower in hot climate. My room temperature is so high today. Lastly, for 2 loaves, we have 700 grams bread high protein flour. Now go ahead and mix everything together with the back of a wooden spoon until you lose patience. Wet your hands because time to switch to your hands. Remember, the better you mix the dough, the faster the dough comes together. So mix this bad boy properly until there is no more dry spots and you have something like this, a shaggy dough. And before you get panic about your messy hands, let the wet scraper to help you. As simple as this. And voila, you have clean hands and your dough ready to rest. 30 minutes later, what? Are you waiting for a stretch and fold? Can you please forget about stretch and fold for just one day? Thank you. Nothing wrong with the stretch and fold, but today we're gonna do something different. Wet the counter, bring the dough, go ahead, grab the dough from the middle, lift it up, stretch a little bit, slap and fold it on itself. Yep, I'm talking about few slap and folds, not more than 10. And then go ahead and round it up with the help of the surface. As simple as this. You can use the scraper, walk the dough on the counter, and continue rounding and pushing it underneath until you have a smooth, beautiful dough like this. Then cover it up and let it rest on the counter. Cause we're gonna build a strong gluten network so the dough can hold the inclusion beautifully. "30 minutes later, wet your hands, use the scraper, and kinda same thing gonna happen here. Developing process and building a strong gluten network. I mean, this was my method. You can do whatever suits you. Again, cover it up and let it sit on the counter. This time for 45 minutes. Time to prepare the inclusion, in this case cranberry and walnut. I can say a handful of each for 1 loaf would be more than enough. You can chop the walnuts. I like to crush them in my hands. It's so fun to do. That's perfect. Gorgeous cranberries and walnuts. You always ask me what is the best time to add the inclusion. There you have it. This is the best time. And it's lamination time. The dough is not that sticky, but better to wet the surface slightly. And this is how I laminate the dough. Try to spread the dough as much as possible without tearing it, of course. Once you had this thin layer of the dough on the counter, go ahead and add your beautiful inclusions. Look at the color, I mean. Try to spread the inclusion as even as possible. And then go ahead, grab one side, stretch, fold it to the center, and do the same to the other sides, overlapping each other. Beautiful. It's totally optional, but I usually flip the dough and round it up one more time. Like so, create a little bit more tension. That's it. Now I can let it finish its ball fermentation, or I can get fancy and after 1 hour just give it another set of coil foil to make sure everything is set. If you want to be a little extra like me, and then let it finish its ball fermentation, shape it, and the rest of the process. 45 minutes later, I end up giving my dough another set of coil fold, but that was totally unnecessary. As you can see, the dough holding its shape beautifully. If your dough holds its shape like this, you don't need to do that. Remember, the dough tells you what he wants. And then let it finish its ball fermentation for 1 hour and 50 minutes to be exact. In this hot climate, we are aiming for 30 to 40% rise at the best. Some bubbles forming on the surface. We have this dome top shape. Wet the counter one more time before pre-shaping. And then if you hold the bowl upside down, it's going to release like a piece of cake. Look at it. And then separate it into two pieces. You can use a scale to be accurate. They weigh around 720 grams. And then while you keep the smoother side up, try to round it up one more time with the help of the counter. And this, as you might know, is pre-shaping. These are two gorgeous doughs. Look at them. Many of you asked how your dough doesn't stick to your hands. This is one of the reasons. I pre-shape them, let them sit on the counter uncovered for 20 minutes. So the surface of the dough has the chance to dry up a little bit and make the shaping much more smoother. The ideal temperature of the dough after bulk fermentation should be something between 25 to 7 degrees Celsius. 20 minutes later, shaping time. Since I'm using a high protein flour, my dough looks a bit stiff, so I'm going to stick to one simple shaping method. Let me show you one more time from another angle. And then try to hide the inclusion inside the dough as best as possible. We don't want them to burn up easily, right? Now, of course, you can bake them the same day, but I recommend you to cold proof them overnight to get maximum flavor out of them. So I'm going to let them proof in the fridge overnight. The next beautiful morning, baking time. Look how puffy it is. On a baking mat or baking paper, whatever you have, I'm gonna score them kinda deep because they loaded with inclusion and I want to get maximum oven spring. Spray little water to get crispier crust. Transfer them into the oven quickly. Make sure to cover up the glass, safety first. Pour boiling water on lava rocks or any preheated pan. Shut the door quickly. Bake at 230 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. 20 minutes later, time to remove the lid or an upside down tray if you use it. Reduce the temperature to 210 degrees Celsius and bake for another 27 minutes. Or even more until you're satisfied with the crust color. And although I know this smells killing you, before you cut into them, you need to let them cool down completely. There you have it, a super crispy and light crust. Gorgeous. But if you want huge oven spring, use less inclusion. And now the moment of truth. Let's see what we got inside. I mean, if you know, you know. With that much inclusion, such a beautiful crumb is a real wow. One thing left to do, my favorite part, tasting time. For this bread, the only thing you need is a little bit of butter. That's it. I love this bread. What they say, nothing can beat classic. If you never made this bread, you need to make this. Trust me. Alright, I guess that was it. If you like this video and you want to see more videos like this, you need to subscribe my channel so you don't miss my next video. Like always, keep baking and take a good care of yourself.